Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I've got a pretty grim rack. Is it grim enough to change? Probably not. I have Gookie and possibly also Chi. But it's not an absolute priority to get rid of the Q when the rest of your rack is non-bingo-y. And Gookie would get rid of G, K and Y, all of which are non-bingo-y tiles, and the O's don't go well with the Q. So I think those are my only two options. I'm not seeing any other good candidate plays from my rack. Now Ditz takes a Y, which points towards Gookie. I could play Chi. Interesting, I could play Chi parallel to Ditz. And then maybe Gookie would remain available and opponent would struggle to score. Well, I think I'm going to play Gookie because I do have two spots for Chi beside Ditzy and underneath Gookie. So I am going with this. Well, not great. Onto an F, I would have Wakf. And again, it's a choice between playing off the Q or playing off the two high scoring tiles. And at the moment, both M and W can go underneath this O. But if I don't play the Q, I would like to play the M and the W. I think on balance at the moment, Chi is preferable. I don't have anything great in row H. What about this triple letter square? Can't see a way of playing off the M and the W in a row J play. I could just play through it with Mo, but then the score's going to be quite low. Is there anywhere else for my Q? 26 points in column 7, that's not bad, and I'm getting rid of a problem tile. Opponent plays a U, but not in a spot I can use. So, O takes an M. What goes after OU that I've got? Nothing, so I don't have anything great in row K. I'm going to play Chi. That looks a little better. If I can play off the M and the W, then what's left is going to be quite bingo-y. So a play of more would achieve that. Nowhere obvious for it at the moment. And still nothing to go after OU apart from the S. So I could play SMU, but then that's keeping double A. And only 30 points. Chi takes an N and an S. Z takes an A, as does it. But I'm not seeing a way of playing off M or W in column 9, and certainly the W is my priority. Do I have a double-double in column 5? I have the S for the OUS ending. No, not seeing such a play. I do have more and ohm, which has some merit. Leaves the best possible rack leave. Doesn't score very much. Now, a better spot for more is up here, where opponents just played. Only 18 points. And that's another 18. So, is this the play? MEAW not good. That would require an extra E after the W. I think this is the play. 36 points, not giving terribly much away. And playing off the S takes out the double danger in column 11. Great, I draw the X, which is good in itself and also is a good way of dealing with a vowel-heavy rack because these high-scoring tiles benefit from having lots of vowels to play with them. A bit laddery, heading towards the top right, and nowhere for the X in that spot, so this isn't a great board for X's. From a T, I would have telefax. So I have the F as well as the X. So I may need to... Wow, look at that. Great bingo for opponents, 78 points. And if I had played just more last turn and held on to the S, opponent would have had a double-double with slewing. So has opponent provided an X spot? Yes, he has. Thank you, opponent. And I think X will be better in terms of vowel-consonant balance. Now, what about column 8? An EX play coming down. So I'm looking at 58 points already. But do I have a vertical play beginning EX? I don't. So I think this is the best I can do. Well, vowel heavy, but I'm in a similar position in that I've got a high scoring tile in the F, which should enable me to play off vowels. Even a play of faux, FOE, would leave a decent rack leave. And look at this, just 3 points between us. Really close game. Row 8 just stayed available for a while, this triple word square. G takes an A and a U in front. I have an A. So I have flee in that spot. Foo is good, but I don't have a play ending OF. AF rather. I have Flory on my rack. Slewing, I think, takes an S, not totally sure. Z only takes an S. Likewise with Jew. So quite a tight board and quite a tight score. But plenty of action to come. 56 tiles in the bag. Not seeing a 7 with this rack. There could be an 8 with the right floater. Axe takes an L. But I'm not seeing a bingo with the G. Or with this G. Den takes nothing in front, so M isn't a bingo floater. Okay, a floating E, not particularly helpful for me. Opponent with a vowel heavy rack, it would appear. So, what to do? Do I have a better play in row H? I have Fora. 28 points, that's not bad. Rack leave, not great, especially with a floating E on the board, which is a really useful floater. Algae takes nothing after it. I could play Flory in column 13 for a low score. Well, I think row H is better. So eel or flea or four. I think flea is better. They score the same, but I think EOR is better than double EL. R is definitely better than L. And although O isn't as good as E, when it's a duplicate E, the difference is less. Okay, I am... Wow. L can go in front of OU. I don't think 4L is good. I'm going with flea. Great, I draw a blank. Fantastic. It feels like I haven't seen one for a while, but I expect I have. So, Do I have a bingo here? Jeopardy is good. That's a 9. Well, there aren't the right floaters for that. What about an 8 or a 7? Close to Jetport. So let me consider the available floaters. There's the F, so I have the 4 prefix and the pre-prefix, nothing there. What about the L? No. E, well, let me consider this E. So it could end ER. No, not seeing anything, so I don't think I do have a bingo, in which case I'm looking to get rid of the J. So a play of JOR would leave the best possible rack leave. Do I have a play through this E getting the J doubled? No, I don't think I do. Wow, still fewer than 10 points between us. This is a close game. Joel is good, but then that retains double R. Not terrible. Polgy is good. Getting the P tripled. Okay, well, opponent goes in that spot. Only 19 points. That's good. Now I have EL to consider for a bingo. Not seeing anything. So, how to sort this rack out? Do I have any non-bingo play through EL? If I had an L, I could have Jello. No. And coming back to row M. No, not seeing anything there. Not seeing anything in column P. Now, Polgy has been taken away, which is a shame. That was an opportunity to get rid of J and P. What about playing jaw here, luring opponent into playing across from the J, thereby creating floaters and leaving this E alone? And this rack leave is pretty good. The score of 18 is dismal with one of the power tiles. Still 2 S's to come. 38 points just for sticking an S under jaw. Can I do better? This doesn't feel great at all. Pell is good. Given that I have the blank, it's imperative that I play the J. J is super non-bingo-y. So the other spot for jaw would have been column 13. Actually, that scores more. 22 points. Yeah, and creates new bingo lanes, which is good given my rack. I am going with this. Not good. B and P non-bingo-y. And I'm short on vowels. However, partable is good through an A or an I, neither available. What about this floating E? I've still got the pre-prefix. No, not seeing anything there. Wow, fantastic bingo for opponent. 87 points with an unpromising rack. And if I'd played jaw in column 11, he may not have been able to play it. Actually, he would have. He'd have had it in column 13. But no new floaters for me. However, now I don't have anything to go after O-M. This is quite a hot spot. Through an O, I would have portable. Gosh. Now, I was thinking about EL for a 9. So I could have bell using B and L. There could be something there, but it's low probability, and I probably haven't studied it. Do I really have nothing to go after OM without burning the blank? I don't think I do. I think I'm going to have to leave that for opponent. It takes an A and an S after it. So I'm coming back to this E. Am I sure there's nothing through that? And I think I'll just consider vowels. Not seeing anything so far. And there could be the BE prefix. No, not seeing anything there. Critical moment if I miss a bingo here. It could be all the difference with me getting back into the game. And I don't even have anything at the top. Surely I do. And look at this, B and P both go next to this O. And I have the E for going next to the R, so I have REP, REB. Just no way of making it 4 tiles long. Pleb doesn't work because UL not good. What a tricky spot. What about doing this, creating a new hotspot, keeping the best possible rack leave? I'm minded to do this, given that I trail. Is this best? What about a play in row M ending double? No, not seeing anything there. I am going with this. Great, that is a fantastic rack. I am surely bingoing now. So I have cross tie in row M. I have core sights. I'm not going to look at column 15. I think opponent will go there. What about row A with a P? Not a great position. And what about an F? Victors is a 7, so I have that on my rack. Factorize is a 9. Freecots is a 7. I'm considering my rack plus an F. Wow! Let me come back to column 15. Opponent has been distracted by this P. Amazing. Or maybe he just... Well, he does have an A for Omer. Maybe he didn't know that hook. So, what do I have in column 15? I have the S for OMS. 9 minutes on my clock. First of all, what about the blank as an A, making Omar? Does this make a bingo? Well, it's not jumping out at me, but I feel there is one here. Let me consider initial letters. A, no. C, no. I, O, R, S, T. Wow, this could be a big miss. Is there really no bingo here? Okay, well, I'm not seeing one. So the next thing to do is to consider all possibilities for the blank, to have an S next to and I'm only looking for a 7-letter play. So that's core sight. That doesn't play. That's Victors. Well, the S in last place isn't helpful. So I'm only going to... ostrich. Ostrich doesn't work because jow not good. 8 minutes on my clock. Wow, what if there isn't one? What a shame. Now, no cistron and citrons. Tropics. No, that doesn't work. Citrus, again, doesn't work. Victors, likewise. Vortices in row M. Co-writes in row M. 7 minutes on my clock, 27 tiles to come. Is there really nothing with the blank as an A? Not seeing it. Okay, so what to do? Could there be a 7-letter overlap ending ER? It could end IER. Well, an E would have to go next to this R, so I don't have a play there. So I think I come back to the possibilities in row M. I think both of them start with blocky letters. Co-writes for 72. Wow, I draw the second blank and I don't feel I deserve that. I feel co-write is likely to be pretty suboptimal, but this is a great pickup. I have aerator, which does play in column 15. But I'm not seeing that it plays anywhere else. So I'm bingo hunting again. There's row B for plays which overlap I or I and N. Nothing plays in row N. There's column 1 for bingos beginning with F. I don't think that's worth looking at. So I have aerator in column 15. I'm now looking for a row B bingo. That would be aerodart through an R. Agrotat onto a T. Toe heroa is 2 O's. Aleatory onto a Y. Gosh, this looks close. Aerosat. Phew, I do have a row B bingo, so I am bingoing. Fantastic. And those are the only 2 I've seen. So I trail by 10. But is opponent going to bingo? If he doesn't, I should be taking the lead. Remaining tiles not particularly bingo-y. Look at the right-hand side here. UUVVY. Hopefully some of those are on opponent's rack. And no A's to come for Oma. And only 1 S. So there's a good chance that may stay available. So aerator, just wondering if it can play higher up. It can't because GA not good. And what about aerosat? No, that can only play in 1 position. Phew. Okay, both of these plays leave stop 1 square short of the triple word square, but opponent has massively inhibited the possibility of a bingo ending in S. So 6 minutes on my clock. Do I play this quickly? The opponent could play Vibs for a decent score. Do I have one more? Do I have one more look for another bingo? I have aorti, but that's a 6. I think given the time, I am just going to play. Aerosat for 83. Wow, I draw B, U and V. That's pretty grim. But at least I didn't duplicate the U or the V. Let me check the remaining vowels. 7 out of 18, slightly vowel dry. So this rack isn't terrible, it is balanced. Hotspot, top right. But you would need an E for going next to the R. I've got one. But I'm not seeing anything great in that spot. Great, opponent turning over tiles. Only 6 tiles in the bag. So, let me look at the score. I only lead by 40, but that's actually quite a lot. What about turning over tiles? It's only 10 points. However, if I draw the S, I've got the Aerosats spot. I'm taking out the most bingo-y floater. I'm expediting the end of the game by leaving 1 in the bag. The only downside to this play is I'm scoring very, very little. So if I play this, I'm on 389. I'm 57 in front. If opponent bingos, then I may not be able to catch him. And he could bingo. He could play pinched in row B. Quite a good keep, B and E. I'm keeping the E for the R. My opponent played an E last turn, so he may have an E on his rack. It really is just the score here. All of the other reasons for playing out Vi I like. There's still a V and a U to come, so it's good to play off both of them. I'm going with this. Well, opponent doesn't have pinched. I'm not seeing any 7s amongst these 8. Is Behoven good? I don't think it is. I think it looks good, but it isn't good. I think I've actually played this in a tournament and it came off. I think Behove is good, but it takes just a D and an S. But do check. I've got 3 high-scoring tiles, which is good. If opponent doesn't bingo, and I don't think he is going to... Oh, he could have cut-ins. If the P's in the bag, he's got cut-ins in row B. And the D is the most... Well, the D is the most likely tile to be in the bag, but I need the P to be in the bag for opponent to have that bingo. Wow. How much do I lead by? Only 58 points. Cut-ins. 78. So I would trail by 20 and opponent would have just 1 tile. And that C would hamper parallel plays even with the H. I'd really be looking to play Behove, I think. Gosh, has opponent got cut-ins? I think that's the only bingo I can see. Now, what have I got in column 15? Not seeing anything. What about column 13? Well, I don't have anything to go in front of the U. Opponent's got the S for dabs and aerosats, of course. What would he get for cups? 54 points. Wow, and Behove does not play at the moment. Only 4 minutes on my clock. I am actually not in good shape here. What is in the bag? I really could do with being able to play Behove, but there's nowhere for it. Gosh, was out via mistake. Now, although hay is good, I just don't have anything in row B. I have Hoven in row B, 22 points. Interesting. Only 2 vowels left. If opponent plays off both of them... Oh, wow, look at that, he plays Cuddin, but didn't have the S, he must have had the P, so the S was in the bag. Wow. So, I lead by 40. I think this is my game now. 3 minutes on my clock. Wow, that was close. But I need to see this game out. 3 minutes. Opponent's got PS. He's not going to be able to score very much. 20 points in for Aerosat. But he can go out. He could play Sup and Sop. So I do have only one move. In which case it doesn't matter that the V is on my rack. So I have Bow for 30. Can I do any better? Still 3 minutes on my clock. BE is good, but that's not more than 30. Okay, I'm not seeing anything better than Bow. I do have even in row D, but I'm not expecting to have another turn. Just wondering what opponent, or what I would have done if I'd had Cuddin and the P. Maybe play the P off somewhere, but there's nowhere to do that and create a new bingo lane, which is what would be ideal, to leave row B alone. Yeah, opponent goes out. And the final score, 384 for my opponent, 419 for me, a winning margin of 35 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. Wow, what a tight ending. Opponent's so close to having a bingo. Now, it was opponent to go first. He played Dits. I played Gookie, and I still like that. Opponent's rack plays and now, interesting, I play Chi for 26. I could have got 2 more points with Cade, which I didn't consider, but I think it's better to have one vowel to go with 4 consonants rather than just the consonants, so I like my play. Opponent's rack, gosh, that looks close to a bingo, but there isn't one, plays Den. What do I do here? I play Moors for 36. I could have played Wheels in the same spot, but I think that takes an S in front. So, similar moves, probably not a huge difference between them. Great rack for opponent and a great bingo. So opponent leads by about 60, but I come straight back with Axe. So just 3 points between us. Now, this is where opponent plays Algae, and he's got quite a nice rack. My rack. And I play Flea. I could have got 6 more points for Feral, keeping EO. However, I think EOR is 6 points better than EO. Well, that's a big call, is it? Well, even if it isn't, I think it eats up most of that gap. So EO probably worth about -2 or 3. But EOR I would say is positive. maybe +2 or 3, so there could be a 6-point difference, but there's not much between those plays, and I prefer the move with the better rack leave in such situations. Now, opponent's rack plays Earth. Phew, no missed bingo here. So I played Jaw for 22 and only 4 more points on offer. Gosh, Jeep, M11, keeping double R. I played Jaw, keeping EPR. I prefer my rack leave. Both plays create lanes or leave lanes alone, so from a board perspective, there's not much between them. So what about score and rack leave? I'm interested in this. So Jaw, keeping blank EPR. So 25 for the blank, up towards 30 with the E, towards 35 with the R. P probably helps it. So probably about 36 or 37 for blank EPR. What about blank ORR? The R helps the blank closer to 30. O probably helps it a bit, 32. Second R drags it back, so I would say that's around 20, 28 or 29. So maybe a 6-point difference there and only a 4-point difference in score, but that's just a mental calculation which could be wrong, but I don't think either of those plays is bad. Now look at this. Absolutely fantastic bingo by opponent, difficult to spot. And well played, given that I had only just created the available spot for it. My rack. And I play pleb, but be pelt available through this E. Interesting. Might have been worth doing because pleb was only 18 points. Opponent's rack plays. So this is where he played inapt. He did have the A. He could have played IU. Down here, he could have played a YA play. He could have played just YA. There it is, YA for 43. Auntie available in column 15. So I'm fortunate he played inapt. Now, what was best here? Soritic. There is a bingo beginning with an S. And Strobic. Gosh. Okay. And then what's next is Elicitors, G2. Coming down from EL, that's nice. And then a whole bunch of plays through co-writes, which score slightly more than co-writes, but I think the big miss, Soritic and Strobic. However, it's still a bingo, and we are still neck and neck. Opponent's rack plays a Y, and now I do have Aerator and Aerobat and Aerosat, and nothing better, nothing down from the F. So this was the highest scoring bingo. Or was it? No, Aerator would have been better because I've stuck the blank on the double letter square. Now, opponent's rack plays finite, so... Oh, well, he's just getting rid of a ton of eyes, fair enough. My rack, and this is where I was uncertain, I played out Vi. Ah, interesting, voiture, that would have been nice. Pretty much the same tiles, in fact, exactly the same tiles as out Vi, but blocking the 7-letter lane. So I think that would have been better. And here we go, the S is in the bag. So opponent plays Cuddin. And now I play Bow for 30. And what does opponent do? He plays Pass, which was a good spot for 23 and was best. So, what a game. Absolutely fantastic stuff. It's a wide open board and just the one ladder towards the beginning, but otherwise the moves are spread out and there were always bingo lanes available. Great bingo by opponent in Eurogram, and agonising seeing this OM spot remain available for a couple of turns before I was able to make use of it. So all good fun. Many thanks to my opponent for a good battle. I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.